Hey guys, we're back with Salud with Robert Gardner. I'm going to review another coffee from the wonderful coffee roasters here in Austin, Third Coast Coffee Roasting Company. Today we have a honey processed Honduras. The honey processed Honduras, I don't think is my favorite of all the coffees I've had, but I was anxious to review this one because I pick up different notes. It feels different to me when I have the coffee on its own, when I'm doing a review, as opposed to when I'm just having coffee in the morning. So let's have a smell here and see how this is. We'll read a little bit about the company and then also where the beans are from in a minute. Definitely some fruity aromas. Dark roasted coffee, maybe just a little bit of light chocolate. It almost reminds me, I think of like Brazil nut or something like that. Like the aroma, the scent I've had cracking open Brazil nuts. I'm not getting massive fruitiness off of this, but it also sometimes changes from the whole beans as opposed to the grind. Let me go ahead and give that a smell, see if that's any different to me. A little more toasted maybe. Let's go ahead and pour a cup of this and see. I've not had any coffee from Third Coast Coffee Roasters that I did not like, but there are certainly some that are my favorite, and a lot of them have come down to I've figured out that I like the natural process for the beans because the natural process is bringing out more fruity aromas in the coffee. It makes it much more tangy, tart, fruity. It's adding layers. I think that some of the coffee that I have, I notice more and more if the coffee is from Colombia, and I'm not at all criticizing coffee in Colombia. Um, it has a because Colombia produces so much of the beans that are consumed in the American market, it's just got a certain flavor profile that I find ubiquitous across those beans. Whereas with the natural process, you get that flavor profile in a bunch of other notes. So it's this more complex uh, coffee. So let's see here. Not a huge difference between the beans, the grind, and the coffee itself, and the smell and aroma. It did netty this morning, so my sinus passages are clear. Let me give that just a second to cool. Let's go to the website and check that out. The honey processed Honduras. They list the co-op as COMSA, and we'll look at that in just a second. It's saying that it does have notes of tropical fruit. I'm not picking that up, but I do notice a little bit of variance in Third Coast's roast from time to time. I think the light to medium roast, medium creamy body, I think I could generally agree with those as categorizations. Cafe Organico Marcala, CAMSA, was founded in 2001 and provides small-scale farmers with development opportunities. Looks like they switched from conventional to organic production and found fair pricing. Nice. This is that sort of thing that, I mean, for me, I feel really good about buying coffee from a cooperative that is helping out people in the country where the coffee is produced, really helping bring out the art. I think that prosperity is good for everybody, including people who drink a lot of coffee. Let's see here. The farmers at Comstock maintain their own processing plants and have added an environmentally friendly method known as honey process. In the typical wet method of processing coffee, the coffee cherries are milled to remove the pulp and then washed extensively to remove the mucilage from the parchment that encases the seed. The honey processing is a water-conserving technique in which the mucilage is allowed to remain on the parchment. This sticky coating, referred to as honey, remains on the seeds as they dry, and the resulting coffee has a more distinctive, fruity, almost floral aroma and flavor. Interesting. Let's try this out here in just a second. Tangy, a little bit tart. It is black right now, so kind of tart, sour a little bit, just a little bit. Around the edges of my tongue, I get these sour notes down both ends. Now, I will say, I don't drink my coffee black. I drink it with cream, but this coffee is good enough that I could absolutely drink this black. I would not feel cheated if I sat down and had some of this that way. I think this is, it's interesting. It's like, it is a little bit more sour. It has a little bit more of a tang to it, to its flavor, but I don't find it overwhelming. It's not like a sour beer, so don't have fear. So here's my thing, and I'm an amateur, I'm a novice, right? I'm bringing you along this coffee journey. This to me is not as nice. I don't like it as much as the micro lot, which is, let's see, we'll pull that up real quick. What micro lot is that? Yeah, the micro lot Honduras natural. Honduras natural processed micro lot. I think again, it's back to um, the natural process. There's something about the natural process. It's coming from the same co-op. The natural process to my tongue is just a little more fruity and adds a little some additional elements. By no means is this coffee bad. And I don't want to represent that. It's a little bit more like going from your favorite to going to one that's just not as much your favorite. This is what this feels like to me. The natural process micro lot is just a little more fruity, but it's also now, I didn't know it was from the same cooperative. And at the same time, it's probably grown in relatively similar regions, similar soil. So maybe the issue is just the natural process, is that my body, particularly in tongue, taste buds just prefers that. It's smooth. The sour notes are just at the edges, just on the periphery. I'm not getting a huge amount of fruitiness coming off of it. Um, it's a little more flat in its flavor profile, but again, it's because I think maybe because of the natural process. If I took this and added some notes of like fruity layers, like I have with the natural process, it does a little bit more for my taste buds, but still absolutely great coffee. Let's cream myself up here and see how this does. You don't think of cream as being sweet, but the cream and the sugars in the cream kind of round out that little bit of that sour just around the edges. It's very mild, by the way. It's not very strong sour, but just a little bit. This is a great coffee. I think I'll wait a while before I buy this again. Of the coffees that I've had so far, I think that the Koyona Natural, the Ethiopian Sidama Natural, do you notice a trend? And the Honduran processed natural processed Honduras micro lot. Those are the coffees that I've had so far that impress me the most. This is absolutely worth a shot. I may buy this again in a little while just to see if maybe the batch is slightly sweeter, but I don't have any issue with this. I thought it was great. And for me, a lot of it is just the exploration, trying out different coffees, trying out different flavor profiles, seeing what I like. I continue to just use the pour over method. I don't really plan on, I don't know, getting an espresso maker or whatever else. This is artisanal and sort of ritualistic enough, the pour over. When I first heard about this on TikTok, I was a little like, oh man, this is just pretentious. Like, why can't you just use a drip? And I think that there's a slightly different flavor profile that comes from the process of grinding your own beans in the pour over. I even bought a second Chemex, and I didn't like, I say Chemex, I bought another similar pour over pot or whatever, and didn't like it as much. I may do a review of that at some point. But wonderful coffee, the honey processed Honduras. You guys check that out at Third Coast Coffee Roasting Company here in Austin. Tell them I sent you. Really great coffee, and I'll see you guys again soon on Salud with Robert Gardner. I appreciate you tuning in.